If we could ask everyone to take your seat, please. We're excited to have you here with us this evening. We want to thank you for being here for our Children's Week Advocacy reception and award ceremony. It's so much fun. For us, it's just like such a treat because we actually get to see people again, and they're not in front of on computer screens. So this is awesome for us. Whether you're here in Tallahassee with us, or if you're participating with us virtually and we're live streaming this event, we're so glad that you have chosen to join us. My name is Phyllis Khalifi. I'm President and CEO of the Children's Forum, the organizing partner for Children's Week. Before I introduce our Masters of Ceremonies, I want to take a quick moment to thank the Children's Forum team for all they have done under unusually challenging circumstances to bring Children's Week to you. In particular, I'd like to recognize Janan Higginbotham. Where is Janan? I need to pull her in here. She is our Children's Week coordinator. And let me share with you why I want to share this story with you. A quick story. After Janan and I had worked together for several years at the Children's Forum, we discovered that we shared not only our present history, but a past one as well. She was 4 years old and I was, well, much younger. And as Providence would have it, she was a Head Start child at a center that I had the opportunity to be the executive director for. And she was one of our Head Start graduates. Good beginnings never end. This is truly proof positive, and so we are so fortunate now. It's come full circle to reap the benefits of all of those early investments. Thank you, Janan, for a great job. I asked her if I could tell that story in advance so that she wouldn't be embarrassed. Okay, and our Masters of Ceremonies is another amazing individual that I've had the pleasure of knowing for almost 20 years. He not only brings his legal and business acumen to our board of directors as our chair, but his leadership, passion, and vision. His commitment is second to none. Anyone who knows Bob and his wife, Karen Busing, personally also know that they walk their talk in their commitment to children and youth, raising not only 2 successful biological children, but have helped to foster 7 bonus children, as he fondly refers to them. He also proudly boasts that he is conducting his own research as Bobo, AKA Granddaddy, to 2 preschool-age children and a set of twins who are due any day. So it's my pleasure to introduce to you Bob Busing.
Well, good evening, everybody, and it's my pleasure to be here to welcome you to the Children's Week Advocacy Reception and Awards Ceremony. To those of you here in this nice, spacious room at Florida State University, and to those of you who are joining us through the live stream throughout the state. Last year, we were able to attend the Children's Week Advocacy Dinner where more than 400 of us came together to celebrate children, see one another, and recognize the many contributions of advocates, policymakers, sponsors, and partners. While our in-person numbers may be fewer and certainly more spread out in this large room, we would not let this year pass without ensuring that our children in Florida have a big voice. And you are that voice. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us. You are all VIPs in our eyes, very important people for raising your voices and committing your talents on behalf of the future we all share. We appreciate especially the legislators who are extremely busy and have joined us this evening. And I hope I have them all on this list. Representative David Smith, Representative Christine Hunchofsky, Representative Andrew Learned from my hometown in Tampa, Representative Marie Woodson, Senator Tom Wright, And, and just to throw in for extra measure, the DCF Secretary, Siobhan Harris, is here. We also want to give a shout out to 3 recently appointed members to the Leon County Children's Services Council. And they've joined us this evening: Lisa McFadden, Walter Sox, and Mark O'Brien. Are you all here? We're excited to see that there is now another Children's Services Council in this state. It's great to see our state agency representatives, nonprofit leaders, and early learning coalitions join us as well. And the business leaders. More about that in a few minutes. And of course, our event sponsor for this evening, United Healthcare. And you'll hear from them in just a couple minutes too. We also thank United Way of Florida, who continues to partner with us. It truly does take a village. For those of us who are here in this room, you will see in front of you Children's Week note cards. There are also children's books on the table. Among the many activities that comprise Children's Week, Storybook Village is one of them, which will take place on Saturday here in Tallahassee at Cascades Park, at which time those books will be given away. But we invite you to write an encouraging note to a child or family that will be tucked inside those free books that will be given away, courtesy of Child's Play USA and our other Storybook Village partners. We know the power of the written word, and your note may serve as inspiration at a time when it is most needed and appreciated. Please write clearly and insert your card in the envelope and leave them on the table, and the staff will take care of them after the event. I encourage our live stream audience to consider similar strategies as you distribute books to children and families. Knowing that someone cares can mean the world. Now it is my pleasure to introduce someone who needs no introduction here in Tallahassee, the First Lady of Florida, Casey DeSantis, who has prepared a virtual greeting for you. Please look at the screens.
Good evening. On behalf of Governor DeSantis and myself, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to Children's Week Advocacy Reception. Whether you are attending in person in Tallahassee or virtually from across our great state, it is a wonderful time to come together with a common purpose to advocate on behalf of Florida's children. We know that the pandemic has been challenging this past year, especially on our youth. Children have experienced disruptions in their relationships, their activities, celebration, and schooling, as have their families. Fred Rogers once said, "When I was a boy and I would see scary things in the news, my mother would say, 'Look for helpers. You will always find people who are helping.'" And tonight we recognize those who are indeed helping. Our early childhood teachers who never paused and continued to care for young children in childcare and pre-K classrooms so that parents could work and put food on the tables for their families. Our K-12 teachers who navigated their way through remote learning and quickly resumed vital in-person classes so that our children can continue to grow and live up to their God-given potential. And from our frontline healthcare workers to social workers, mental health specialists, first responders, foster parents, volunteers, and beyond, thank you. We recognize your truly outstanding efforts on behalf of Florida's children. We also congratulate all of the partners, the sponsors, supporters, and the Children's Forum for ensuring that Children's Week continues to bring focus and attention to our children. The great news is that we are coming out on the other side of this pandemic, and Florida has truly led the way. We are excited and optimistic about Florida's future, and we are energized to see what lies ahead for our state and for our children. Thank you, and thank you for your hard work and support. And God bless you and the great state of Florida.
We thank the First Lady for her insightful and important comments as we acknowledge the efforts of so many heroes during the past year. Events such as this evening's could not happen without sponsors who recognize that children are worth the investment. It is my pleasure to welcome Michael Lawton, who is the CEO of United Healthcare Community Plan of Florida, who would like to share a few words with us this evening.
It's always nice to take the mask off, isn't it? So, well, thank you very much, Bob, and thank you for having me. My name is Michael Lawton. I'm the CEO for the Community State Plan in Florida. Our community and state plan here in Florida covers almost 300,000 Medicaid recipients, and we're very proud to do so. You know that 3 in 7 kids in the state of Florida are covered by Medicaid. We're very proud to be part of this program, and we're very proud that Secretary Siobhan Harris, who used to be the Secretary of ACA, who I had the pleasure of, I think I worked for you for about 7 years. There's no better advocate for children than Siobhan. So Secretary Harris, thank you for joining us tonight. At United Healthcare, we're passionate about children. We're always trying to develop new programs and services to help children and adolescents. We're very proud over the last year. To say that the last year has been a year of perseverance is an understatement. I think we would all agree on that. But we've developed a couple of programs for children and adolescents that we're very proud of. Many of them in the First Lady's advocate around behavioral health. Many of these are around behavioral health issues that children are having. Bringing together care managers, bringing together social workers, bringing together families to help reduce Baker acting children and helping kids live healthier lives. That's what we're trying to do at United Healthcare. So our mission is to help people live healthier lives, and we know that it's a challenging time to do that. We're happy to be able to sponsor the Children's Week. I think Diane Owens, my colleague, who has been intimately involved with this program, and you all know Diane. I think, Diane, this is our 5th or 6th year. Yeah, so we're very happy to be able to do this. We look forward to this every week. There's no better program to support in the state than Children's Week. So thank you all for having us. Thank you for allowing us to be part of your program. And thank you for allowing us to help the kids of Florida. Thank you.
Thank you, United Healthcare. We truly appreciate all you do for children and families and being one of our major sponsors this year. In case you ever wonder if what you are doing is making a difference, we have a short video to remind you. It is truly because you cared that lives are changed and the trajectories for children are altered.
Children's Week Florida is the only annual event held in the state that celebrates children and advocates.
We help to ensure children and families have their voices heard at the state capitol.
It takes a village to make this all possible.
To our partners, families, advocates, and legislators, thank you for your care and commitment to children.
Because you cared, children have a great beginning.
Because you cared, children in Florida are healthy.
Because you cared, children are ready to learn.
Because you cared, children are safe.
Because you cared, children are thriving.
Because you cared, children are equipped to achieve their full potential.
Because you cared, children are ready for a successful future.
You care because every child matters.
Because every child matters.
Because every child matters.
Because every child matters.
Pleasure of introducing our keynote speaker, Mark Wilson, the President and Chief Executive Officer of the Florida Chamber of Commerce. But before I do, I want to share with you that I am standing here today because of the Florida Chamber. Through its Leadership Florida program in 2001-2002, don't do the math, 19 years, I took a deep dive into Florida's challenges, and I came away convinced that nothing was more important than getting early childhood right. So I made a promise to help, and here I am. I joined my local Early Learning Coalition board. As a local chamber representative, I got a close look at the challenges of waiting lists for qualified families because some programs were not fully funded. So many families, the ALICE group, look that up if you don't know what that means. That's income constrained group. They earn just a little too much to get help, but they couldn't possibly afford the cost of quality early learning. I saw the challenge of moving a group of babysitters who saw their jobs as keeping kids safe along the path to becoming trained professionals with careers who saw their profession as fully preparing kids to be ready in all ways to succeed in kindergarten. And I saw how siloed we are. Why different departments, different legislative committees, different professional standards, wildly different pay scales? Why? I joined the Children's Forum Board, the premier administrator of scholarship and wage supplement programs for the early learning teachers, the manager of the Help Me Grow line that helps parents get connected to the help they need, especially parents of special needs kids. And the Children's Forum does so much good proving to me with resources, we really can get high quality to every family. But I learned the most from attending national conferences of business leaders who understood how critical this is for our economic success. I learned from Nobel Prize winning economist Dr. Jim Heckman that we save at least $8 for every dollar we spend on early childhood because the benefits of a temporary investment are lifelong. I learned that the latest brain research shows it's actually all happening faster and earlier than we ever realized. As much as 75% in the first 3 years. Not only, sadly, is kindergarten too late, even programs for 4-year-olds are too late if we don't have earlier support for kids and their families. I learned that from the retired senior military members of Mission Readiness that they view this as a critical issue to our national security. Way too many applicants can't do the basics. But the latest blockbuster that I learned at these conferences is the potential to significantly lower health costs. Did you know that 7 of the top 10 leading causes of death are significantly lower for adults who got high quality early childhood education when they were kids? Imagine the savings that would create. And just so you know, one other thing I've learned is our competing states are not sitting still on this incredible scientific information that's now out there. Georgia uses half of its lottery dollars for early education. Alabama, just a couple weeks ago, approved a major expansion of their the program for 4-year-olds. It's a high quality program with better trained teachers, longer hours in the classroom, and otherwise outperforms Florida. Oklahoma has a philanthropist who is matching the state dollar for high quality programs. Arizona uses all of its cigarette tax money for early learning. I could go on and on. And folks, it's not just the US. At my last conference, I sat at a round table like the one you're sitting at, and one of the gentlemen sitting there was running a foundation in China. And his boss was a Chinese billionaire from a rural province who had promised that he was going to fully fund a free, high quality early education for every child in a province that none of us have ever heard of that has 60 million people in it. So whatever justification resonates with you, saving lots of tax dollars in the long run, that's a good one. Saving huge sums on healthcare costs that are being absorbed by the taxpayers through the Medicaid program or private businesses. Supporting equity to help every kid enjoy the benefits of employable skills and a good job. Developing the best possible workforce or keeping your state and nation competitive. Whatever reason resonates, let's do this. Mark, look what the chamber has unleashed, and that's just me. And thanks for your efforts on this critical issue, and thank you for being here today to share your thoughts.
All right, can everybody hear me? Yeah. All right, great. Bob, thanks so much for that incredibly kind introduction. As Bob said, I'm Mark Wilson. I have the absolute honor of being the president of Florida's Chamber of Commerce. And for the next 10 or 12 minutes or so, I want to talk about a concept that we've been working on for about 10 years, but I really want it to sink in tonight. And the concept is one of awareness. And just bear with me for a second here, right? I serve as the president of our chamber, but I want to honor the fact that this issue we're talking about, children, the importance of investing in children, it's your life's work. And I realize that most everybody in here tonight, at some point, you decided this was going to be your life's work. Or you can't believe it, but you're sitting here almost at the end of your career and you're wondering how it happened, right? And it's because you have a passion for this, right? What I want to talk about a little bit today is I get the absolute privilege of working with business leaders from Key West to Pensacola. And I have not met a business leader yet that when they have that veil of awareness lifted of what's happening in kindergarten, what's happening in early learning, what's happening in so many of our zip codes in Florida. I want to start my conversation off tonight by telling you that I think we have an epidemic going on, not COVID. I think we have an epidemic going on of a lack of awareness at the CEO level throughout our state and throughout our country. And Bob, I loved your introduction. I wish I would have counted. You talked about money several times, right? We have many in the legislature here tonight, and you were giving an example of how much funding can go into early learning. And I want to say something that'll be incredibly unpopular, but I'm going to say it anyways. And that is this: there's no amount of money that by itself will do everything that needs to be done when it comes to early learning. Do we need to invest more in early learning? You're darn right we do, right? But what we need is a business community who understands the connection between investing early and future workforce. Okay. And so what I want to share with you tonight is we have an incredible research team in the Florida Chamber Foundation. And what I want to share with you tonight are some tools that we've been working on for the last couple of years. And I want your help, not to beat the business community over the head with it, but to go back and think about, are there businesses in your community that could benefit from knowing how many kids in that classroom cannot read at third grade level? Right? How many kids in this zip code are living in poverty right now? Because I will tell you right now, when you do that simple exercise with business leaders throughout Florida, those women and those men, it changes their life. And they then go back and they say to their management team, is it true that there's 89 kids in the school down the street in third grade that can't read at grade level? And if it is, what's my company doing about it? That's how change is really going to happen. And I say that with all due respect. Those of you who this is your life's work, you're probably sitting here saying, I spent my whole career and some guy stands up there and says, that's it, right? But I'm telling you right now, you put what you've done in your life's work and you put the literally hundreds of millions of dollars of potential investment and brain power and muscle that the business community in Florida could bring to bear on this issue. I think it's the single largest problem and the single largest opportunity that we have in Florida over a 20 or 30-year period of time. And I couldn't be more proud of our foundation trustees, the Florida Chamber Foundation board members, Bob, which you used to be one of. They've just flat out put their foot down and said, we are going to put the long term ahead of the short term. And whatever the political fallout is. Our kids and their future has to be a nonpartisan conversation. And so we put together some tools that I want to share with you here tonight. And I know our time is incredibly short, but what I hope is that a handful of you, right, will actually take this and get back in touch with me and do like Jack has done and Alan has done. And so many people have, they've taken me up on my word. You get this stuff. We can do op-eds together. We can do conferences together. We can speak together. We can go out and we can fundamentally make change, but we don't have all the answers. We have a connection to the business community that nobody else has. We have 250 local chambers of commerce in our state. We have economic development groups in every county. They care about this issue. And I want to make that case to you here in just the few minutes that I have left, okay? Big picture, right? This is the wonkiest slide I'm going to share with you tonight. So just big picture, hang in with me for a second. The Florida Chamber Foundation every 10 years invests about $1.5 million in a big research project called Cornerstone. Some of you have heard of it before, and we're the only state that does it. We look at where's the world going to be in 10 to 20 years? Where's our hemisphere going to be? Where's our country going to be? Where's Florida's opportunity 10 years down the road? And we have 67 counties, 405 cities, 22 million people. Can you imagine what would happen if the 160 men and women in the Florida legislature and 67 county commissions and 405 city councils, can you imagine what would happen if we got on the same page about our big goals? Okay. Here's the punchline. What the research said is if Florida was a country, we would be the 17th largest economy on the planet. You can see that right up there, 17th. We're bigger than Saudi Arabia from an economic perspective. We've grown by more than the entire GDP of Mississippi in the last 18 months. Said differently, Florida's a big deal. But what the research says is if we all band together and we do the right things, right? Nonpartisan, but the right things. Florida can be the 10th largest economy in the world in just 10 years. So bigger than Mexico in 10 years. That's the opportunity that we have. 4 million more people are going to live in Florida by 2030 than live here today, whether you like it or not. So we better have a conversation about how are we going to do that. 4 million more people means we need to create 2 million more jobs in just 10 years. How are we going to do that, right? Well, there are 39 specific to-dos that the legislature and the business community need to work together on if we're going to grow to the 10th largest economy in 10 years. We're not going through all 39 of them, but here they are. And I simply want to point out, I know I've circled 2, I simply want to point out 3. And don't worry, I'm not going to read them to you, you can look them up later, okay? One of the 39 goals, and keep in mind, if you all were on my board and our goal was to grow Florida to the 10th largest economy in 10 years, and we did $1.5 million worth of research and we said there's 39 things you have to do, one of those 39 goals up there is kindergarten readiness. So I'm going to show you a number in a minute, but the goal is by 2030, with the business community's help, we need 100% of our kindergartners to be ready for kindergarten by the time they enter 2030. Now, the most common response I get from your peers is that'll never happen. Folks, if you don't believe in this room that it'll never happen, then don't ask the business community to step up and try to make it happen. Our research says we cannot be 10th largest if we don't commit that it's a 100% by 2030. Okay, I'll give you a number and we're measuring that, so I'll show you that in just a slide or two. Another one of the 39 goals, 3rd grade reading proficiency. right? I think everybody in here knows we're only 58% of our third graders can read at grade level. And the challenge with that is, for all of our legislative friends in the audience, we're one of the best in the country. America's not in the top 20 anymore on this metric. And so we can talk about where we are versus other states. What we care about is, if we want to be the 10th largest economy in the world in 10 years, we have to care about early learning. You just talked about China and what's happening, you know, with 60 million kids or 60 million people. So this other goal is 100% of our third graders reading at grade level by the time we get to 2030. We're putting $5 million behind both of these initiatives over the next 10 years, or over the next 5 years. A third goal up here, and the last one I'm going to mention tonight because you can't separate these, has to do with childhood poverty. And right now we have over 800,000 kids in poverty in our state. And I'll show you on a map in a second. Half of those kids, roughly, and Director, we talked about this in your office at DCF, about half of these kids in Florida that live in poverty live in just 15% of our zip codes. So when we talk about healthcare, you know where they are. When we talk about working with the Federal Reserve, when we talk about where are these kids, again, about 450,000 of these kids live in just 150 of our 983 zip codes. And again, we've made that part of our new Equality of Opportunity initiative. So all three of those, I think everybody in this room knows, you can't separate kindergarten readiness from third grade reading, and you can't separate either one of them from childhood poverty, cutting it in half over 10 years. This is the roadmap that the entire Florida Chamber of Commerce is going to spend $105 million on over the next 5 years. We're electing candidates based on these issues. We're advocating policy based on these issues. And on the floridascorecard.org and the floridagapmap.org, we're actually measuring all of this at the zip code level and at the county level. There's no longer an excuse for anybody in this room or any business leader in Florida to say they didn't know. And that's what I want to get all of your help with. And Bob, I know we're going to be out of time soon. So let me just show you what some of these tools are. So we're on day 399 of since Florida's first case of COVID. And the reason I know that is we update our scorecard every single day, the floridascorecard.org. By the way, every county has its own scorecard. So if you want to go there and you want to see what's going on in all 67 counties, you know, we have a lot of members of the legislature that every morning pull up their county numbers. And that's where people are getting their numbers from. You can't see everything on this screen, but let me just tell you this. I mentioned if Florida was a country, we'd be the 17th largest economy in the world. We're adding 900 people a day net to Florida's population. Almost half of them are coming here from another state, right? Where are they coming from? How are they going to vote? Do they believe that early learning is important, like all of us do? These are the kinds of things we're paying attention to. If you could see all the numbers on here, and by the way, this presentation is fully downloadable. I'll show you how to in just a minute when I'm finished, but a couple numbers on here. It might surprise you to know that right now today, Florida has over 500,000 fewer jobs than we had a year ago. So that's part of that 2 million number that we need to bring back. But folks, here's the issue. Here's why it matters. Right now today, there's over 350,000 jobs in Florida that are open that can't find people to fill them. And we've got over 470,000 people looking for jobs, and they can't find jobs that they're qualified for. We do not have an unemployment problem in Florida. We have a skills mismatch problem in Florida. And that's what we're all working hard to solve. All right. I think a little perspective, you can read this later, but we've been working on this for over 5 years. I testified in Congress in 2016. It's impossible to believe, Bob, I feel your pain. It's impossible to believe how fast time goes. But our fundamental belief is that every child, regardless of zip code, race, gender, or any other issue that you want to put on the table, every child should have an equal opportunity at success, and their zip code should not determine that. That's been an underlying factor in everything that the Florida Chamber Foundation has been working on for a long time. Here you have some of these maps and tools I was telling you about. If you want to see, you know, if you want to see how many kids are living in poverty in every single zip code, it's now just as easy as go to the floridagapmap.org. And if you want to see, if you want to see how many kids are living in poverty or how many kids can't read at the third grade level, at the school level, every business, every local chamber, every economic development group now has access to that. Here you see, these are real numbers right now. Now these are pre-COVID. Everybody in this room knows these numbers are going down, at least on a short-term basis, right? But here you have kindergarten readiness numbers for the state. You have kindergarten readiness numbers for Leon County. I just picked Leon County because that's where we're sitting right now. You also have third grade reading for Leon County and for the state. Now, all of you in this room, it's your life's work. You knew where to go. You knew where to look that number up. But I'm telling you, most businesses have never seen these numbers before. So most businesses don't believe that it would be acceptable to have only 58% of our kids reading at grade level in third grade. And so we need to help the business community understand what's going on in their area. Here you have Leon County, where we're sitting right now, 9 zip codes. We have 1 zip code where 48% of our kids live in poverty. 2 miles away, we have a zip code where only 10% of our kids live in poverty. Systemic racism is real. And all you have to do is look at zip codes to figure out what's going on. It's not the kids' fault that they're in poverty. If anybody thinks it is, let's have a conversation after the meeting. We just don't have time to get into that right now. This is available for every single county, every single zip code in Florida. And again, we have members of the legislature who've taken an interest in looking at what's happening in their district. Because if they can put in their newsletter that they send out to constituents, what's going on in their House district or in their Senate district, people start to pay attention. And we're not trying to blame anybody, certainly not blame the teachers, not blame the superintendents. This is a business community opportunity to step forward and say, I didn't know, but now that I do, what can I do? And so I mentioned the Florida Gap Map. We don't have time to get into all of it, but again, when you download this later, this is school level information about how many kids in third grade in every school in Florida cannot read at grade level. I promise you, when you pass that school and you don't see it as Jackson Elementary or Gilchrist Elementary, when you see it as a school that's got 89 kids that can't read at grade level, it changed. Now, realtors don't like to hear it, right? And a lot of people don't like to hear it, but that's the truth. And I think the sooner we can get the truth into the marketplace, the sooner we all can get about making changes. Bob, I'm gonna end by just asking you to engage with us on a couple of points, right? I told you that we're investing millions of dollars in these outcomes over the next several years, but money alone doesn't do it. We actually have to unite together. We have to be using the same data, the same analytics. We have to be using the same language. And we have to make sure that the business community at the local level understands exactly where's their help needed and what exactly can be done. I will tell you, poverty is too big for Congress to fix. It's too big for the governor's office to fix. It's too big for the legislature. This is a neighborhood issue. It's a school issue. And we just recently announced a brand new division. It's the Florida Chamber's Division of Economic Opportunity or Quality of Opportunity. And we've hired Kyle. Kyle, could you just stand up real quick so people see who you are? Thanks, Kyle. Kyle went to Florida State. He's an economist, but in his role with us now, we've put together our childhood poverty initiative, where we want to cut it in half by 2030, our third grade reading initiative, and our diversity, inclusion, and equity initiative. And we're the first organization in the nation, first business organization in the nation to have 10-year goals that we've put out. And we've said, we're going to organize the business community around these goals that I shared with you tonight. And so we have coming up, that's how to reach Kyle. We have coming up 2 statewide summits that I want to invite everybody to think about participating in. These are in person. In May, we'll have our statewide prosperity summit, where we'll be talking about all of the local efforts that we know of to cut childhood poverty in half between now and 2030. We want to highlight what United Way is doing. We want to highlight what Boys and Girls are doing. We want to highlight what businesses are doing, right? The following month in June, we'll have our annual Learners to Earners Workforce Summit in Central Florida. What are we doing there? We're talking about early learning. We're talking about third grade reading. We're talking about high school graduation. We're talking about career and technical education. We're talking about lifelong learning. We're talking about how we no longer can pit early learning against higher ed and somehow say, work it out in the legislature. What we have to do in the business community is realize this is all part of, this is one kid that we're talking about. And we're talking about a future workforce. And so I just want to say, for those of you who this is your life's work, I want to say thank you, because this is our life's work. Unifying the business community to make sure that good things happen, that's our life's work. And I think on an old Venn diagram, I think the intersection of your life's work and our purpose has never been greater. And so again, accolades to all of you. Thanks for your leadership. Thanks for your life of service. Bob, I'll turn the program back over to you.
Thank you, Mark, for sharing the business community's perspective and the hard work of the Florida Chamber. Our heart is with you. Be successful, please. Well, we're going to change the pace a little bit, and we have a treat for you. Quality after-school programs are essential for our youth for many reasons, as the research has demonstrated. The next performance was created by students at the Jacksonville Arts and Music School, sometimes called JAMS, as they expressed their appreciation for their program in the best way they know how, through their music. They produced the video you're about to see for Lights On After School, an annual event that celebrates after-school programs nationwide. It was created entirely by the JAM students. As you will see, the video reflects the independence and creative freedom students experience at JAMS and the incredible products that result. Jason Peoples, Executive Director of JAMS, emphasizes the importance of giving youth a platform to express themselves, and express themselves they did.
Speeding! Camera 1 is speeding.
Camera 3 speeding.
Are you?
When the lights come on, creativity sparks. The mind becomes a vessel of work that generates questions and thoughts. In every student's journey lies a time when path is unknown, gifts are yet to be wrapped, and purpose is a goal too hard to find. After school, after standards, after tests, young students are allowed the room and opportunity to become young artists. Instances of hope and glimpses of meaning become the center of community, peace, leadership, and greatness. Outstanding the test of time. These moments of joy are embroidered with symbols pointing toward what happens when the lights come on. There is a distinct time when butterflies break out of their cocoon and are given their wings to take flight. There is the time when gravity becomes a non-factor, when you can stand before your peers and leaders and float above ground using the tools they have helped you shape. It's a power unlike one has ever seen. It's a power not many get the chance to know. Because when the lights are off, so are the minds that need to believe there is no gravity. We need expression in its greatest forms. It has never been more necessary that our voices speak volumes, that our feet dance atop mountains, and our hands craft life and build reality. We possess the power to step into galaxies, fold worlds. We own this power. When the lights come on, I have the right to stand before you and be authentically me. Not afraid of boundaries, I know I'm limitless, timeless, extraordinary, because I'm given the opportunity to be. I'm aware that when I create, I make moments unknown. When my pen creates, I open the doors for the next young girl or boy who needs to see that illumination. They need that time to shine, whether it be now or in a few moments in time. I have the meaning, maturity, and memory to be great, to be historical like the ones that came before me. I know it's my time, because I make history whenever I step into my destiny. When the lights come on, it's time we believed in who we were meant to be. Focus on the things we want to achieve. I know my creative potential is endless, and this family, this community sees a queen in me. I know that we have the power to be more than what the eye can see. It's empowerment, perseverance, resistance, resilience, protest, projection, progress, and intelligence. All when the lights come on.
Cool part. That was amazing. Our future is in good hands, which is a great segue to sharing an exciting new award with you, our Children's Week Youth Advocate Award. This award recognizes the leadership, advocacy, and service on behalf of children by our young people. There is no doubt that they will be standing in our shoes tomorrow. We want to recognize their incredible efforts to date and to encourage them to continue in their service. We also want you to know that we had amazing nominees for this award, and the review committee had much to ponder, and it was a tough decision. But we are pleased to announce that Rhea Patel is our Youth Advocate Award winner this year. They love you. Oh, there it is. There we go. So Rhea attends Oak Hall School in Lake City, Florida, and participates in the Florida YMCA Youth in Government program. And it provides an excellent training ground for youth leadership. In addition to numerous volunteer activities with and on behalf of children in her community, she serves as the YMCA's Youth in Government program as their chief financial officer, and she is a candidate, watch out, Governor DeSantis, she is a candidate for youth governor. She is a gifted facilitator, organizer, and collaborator who has participated in teen town hall activities in the past. We could go on and on about this amazing young lady, but you might want to make her acquaintance now before she occupies the governor's mansion. We predict she's going to have a great future. Thank you again. Next, it is our distinct honor to recognize the Child's Advocacy Award winner, Mrs. Estrelita Lowe Berry, who hails from my area of the state. The Lawton and Rhea Child's Advocacy Award is bestowed annually to recognize the outstanding contributions of a Floridian who embodies some of the characteristics of our late governor, a trailblazer, and one who cared deeply for children and good public policy on their behalf. It's also a pleasure to recognize Governor and Rhea Child's son and daughter-in-law, Bud and Kitty Childs. Are they here? Who are with us tonight. Are they here? I hope so. We thank you and your family for the work you do to continue to honor the governor's legacy. Rather than telling you about this amazing award recipient, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Please watch the video.
I love her. That's my mom. She is, I always say she's my #1 girl. My wife and her can compete for that title. And I think it's a good, nice, even tie right now. But mom's still #1. She's still mom. She's still amazing. She's got my back. I never worry about what's going to happen day to day, whether it's career, personal life, because I've got Lil Berry and she's got my back, and always has and always will.
She stands out in a crowd, whether she's trying to or not. Right. She's a force, and you feel her presence when you walk in the room, even though she is grace personified. She always has a very warm smile, but you know behind that warm smile, there's a fierce advocate. She's a human. She's got a great sense of humor, just a great attitude about life. She's positive, she's optimistic. She practices love every day. And I'm just honored to know her and to call her a colleague and a friend.
She is so easy, always easy to talk with. And I think that that's important because she respects the diversity of our community, and she respects everyone's opinion and perspective. So Lo makes you feel like she really cares about you because she listens to you. And on a broader spectrum, she just doesn't only care about our community, she cares about all of humanity. She knows that if you're going to improve the lives of pregnant women and their children, that you have to support the whole family. She also knows that you need community and partnerships. And that's why the impact that she has had is going to have a lasting effect on our community and on generations to come.
She has worked diligently and extremely hard to make sure that all the members of our community, mothers, fathers, babies, and their grandparents, have positive health outcomes. Lo is one of the most remarkable women I've known in my entire lifetime. She has been a leader and a mentor, confidant and friend. I've been honored to just be in her presence and in her midst. And our relationship is a perpetual one.
You can provide services to people, but to provide them well. One of the things that Lo says is that we love the people that we serve. And sometimes people will think about, oh, you know, kind of sentimentality or whatever. But what Lo is meaning is that we are committed to making sure that every person that we touch has the opportunity to actualize their potential. Lo actually did get the opportunity to meet then Governor Childs. And so it makes a tremendous difference that we can know that, that we are really following in his footsteps.
I want to thank Lo for, she's taught me an incredible amount about integrity. She's taught me a lot about dignity and how to treat people and how to be treated. And she has, I know, has made a difference in reducing racial disparity and infant mortality in our community and on the state level, and also in maternal mortality.
You know her heart is in this work of serving these mothers to make sure that their children have a viable chance at life. So she deserves this because she's serious about it. It's not about making a name for herself. It's really about reshaping the narrative to say your zip code should not determine the health and the probability of your child faring well in life.
My focus has always been to sort of level the playing field in the communities that we serve for optimal health. In this community, it's really important because there is inequity with good health outcomes, and there are great disparities. And for me and my interest, that what brought me to the arena was the disparity in infant mortality, as well as maternal mortality, but particularly, babies dying before they even get to their first birthday. And to see and to know that those deaths were preventable just really broke my heart. And when I was told about the award, and it was the Child Center Award, that's how I even got started in this arena. When I met him and was introduced, he thanked me for coming to the Child Center. And I thought at that moment, this is serious. And so coming full circle is a blessing. And I'm very thankful for it. And it sort of makes me feel like I'm almost arrived to profound. Not there yet, but almost.
Low bearing.
Well, the first thing I want to say is that I've seen that video a couple times now, and I was trying to make myself prepared again because that's the only video, only award that has snatched my cool. I cried both times and did everything I could to hold back the tears, and did pretty good until I saw the child's family. And so I just want to say a few things, and that's on my heart. First of all, I absolutely have to say thank you to Dee, Charlie, Ed Fever, Hope, and others who really had the vote of confidence for this award in me. And I want to say to my fellow stakeholders, truly grateful for this, what I'm calling actionable legacy committed to optimal health. Also, thank you, Jack. Jack has been tremendous in demonstrating passion and humility throughout this entire process. And folk, this award, I just want to say, is really awesome for a number of reasons, but I did have the pleasure of meeting the late great Governor Charles and Rhea at a special events when we were rolling out our doula program in the community. And when he did come up to me and thank me for doing the work that I did, that meant so much, probably more than he knew for certain. But I want to tell you that we strive to be intentionally truthful, truthful about what we feel, what we see, and what we know, to be contributors of inequities and injustice for overall health for all. We are so grateful as at Reach Up to our late governor and wife Rhea for the Child Center vision. And we're as equally happy about being contributors, meaningful contributors to that vision. I'd like to end by saying that in this world, with everything that we have to contend with, we still have folk who are truly committed and dedicated to changing the health trajectories of those in the most marginalized, under-resourced areas, as we talked about today. And I'm certainly part of that team with that goal of addressing that position about where we can be in the near future, and the zip code not dictating one's life. And so in closing, I would like to offer up 3 suggestions to further the important work that all of us here do, while recognizing, as my mom used to say, the more we do, the more we got to do. And I say this out of love and commitment. Number 1, let's continue mobilizing and galvanizing in a collaborative and actionable fashion. Collective impact is necessary. Number 2, let's remind ourselves daily that it is not about me, but about we. And the third is, let's strive to move our work from the peripheral to the profound. Thank you so much for seeing me and believing in me. This is a tremendous honor and privilege to be given this prestigious 2021 Lawton Real Child's Advocacy Award. Blessings to you all.
Well-deserved, Lo. Good job. Well, while they're doing the pictures, I'm going to just wrap up here. I want to mention that Children's Week has taken on a different flair this year for obvious reasons. I hope the heart has been maintained, thanks to so many of you. The traditional signature event of Children's Week is called Celebration of the Hands, representing thousands of children in our state, but it could not be hung in the Capitol Rotunda this year. However, we were able to display so many of them at the Tallahassee Community College Center for Innovation and the Institute for Nonprofit Innovation and Excellence, located at Clayman Plaza and adjacent to the Capitol. Stop by and look at it. Thank you, Scott Blaylock and Felina Martin, for allowing those beautiful hands to be displayed. We also know that the hands are being displayed proudly throughout local communities in Florida as well. Tomorrow, virtual activities will be ongoing throughout the day and can be viewed through the website, which is childrensweek.org. Please visit the site. You can sign on with the WOVA platform, and it really works. It's pretty cool. You will have access to the entire schedule, activities, our partners and sponsors, and the Teen Town Hall meeting tomorrow afternoon, as well as other activities and photos. Again, we want to thank United Healthcare for their sponsorship this evening. Finally, we thank the Children's Forum and the Steering Committee and for picking up the gauntlet during this pandemic to continue this amazing celebration with all of our friends, colleagues, advocates, partners, legislators, and sponsors to ensure that together, the voices and needs of Florida's children remain a top priority. You are truly the heroes and voices for our children. Use those voices because all children matter. Have a wonderful evening.
Nobody ever knows, nobody ever sees. I left my soul back then, oh, I'm too weak. Most nights I pray for you to come